I've always held Halo 3 ODST in high regard. Definitely has a special place in my heart. I believe it's some of Bungie's best work, with the likes of Halo 2 and 3. I've always just loved the ODSTs in general, everything about them, their look, their overall, I guess, just feel to them. It's always really struck a chord with me. And I've always wanted to incorporate an ODST into a project somehow, but I've never really had any ideas, at least until now. So the two main components that I used for this project I printed with my Resin 3D printer. We have this miniature ODST that I got from a guy's website, and then for the base of the diorama I used a 20mm scale base that I got off the website and upscaled it to about 40mm. I will link where I got all of the 3D files below in the description, so go ahead and check out the accredited authors, especially the author for the ODST miniature. He makes some really great miniatures that I've used before, so go ahead and check him out. So with the parts already primed, I will be starting off with the base, where I'll be mixing together matte black as well as Bugman's Glow to create a darker ground-like color for the ground part of the base. With the top part of the base covered, I decided to let it dry for a while and work on parts of the ODST. So for the main color of the ODST, I decided to use a mixture of German gray and matte white, and the resulting color turned out more reminiscent of ODSTs from Halo 2, but I decided to just kind of go with it and just see what comes out. Now for the boots and the gloves of the ODST, I decided to use a Batten Black. I will paint the gloves later in the footage, but right now I will just paint the boots. So ODSTs have this sort of camo tan pattern on their thighs, specifically ODSTs from Halo 3 and ODST. And since I can't really paint camo yet, I decided to just kind of do my own thing. So to start off, I painted the thigh plates with some corpse pale. Next, I added some Agrex Earthshade wash to the tan thigh parts, just to give it a kind of more grungier look. I wanted to try to kind of emulate the camo look, but not really, but I think it turned out pretty well. So, with the wash drying on the thighs, I decided to move back to the base, which should be dry by now, and I wanted to do for the base kind of a jungle, kind of mossier feel to it, so I decided to add a dry brush of some flat green onto the brown top coat. Next, I decided to paint some of the little rocks that were on the base with some astrogranite. Moving back to the ODST, I decided to work on the visor. To do that, I mixed together a deep blue and some matte white to create a sort of sky blue. I know that ODSTs generally have a more greenish colored visor, but I thought a bluer color would make it pop out a bit more. Since ODSTs have colored bits on them, usually on their helmet or their chest plate, I decided to use some cracked blue to add the stripe to the helmet as well as the chest and bits on the shoulder. For a bit more detail, I decided to add some lead belcher to the antenna sort of command array on the top of the helmet. Moving on to the assault rifle, I wanted to go for a kind of Halo 3 look because I think the model of assault rifle used for the ODST is the Halo 3 assault rifle. So I used a combination of Runefang steel, Baden black, and lead belcher to paint the assault rifle. with that, we now have a finished ODST miniature. With the ODST finished, I moved back to the base and painted the border edges of the base with some Abaddon black. And then after that is finished, I took the base and sprayed it with a gloss coat, and the ODST and sprayed it with a matte varnish. With the top coats dried, I moved on to adding the foliage to the base and then putting everything together for the final product. Now, I am by no means an expert at adding basing materials to existing bases, so adding a bit of like jungle bits in that is definitely a bit out there for me. I'm more used to just doing like barren wasteland terrain or like a desert kinda. So this was definitely a challenge, but I think the end result was pretty good.